Listen, companies are capitalizing on your laziness and gaps in your knowledge, but I want to make sure that I save you money and equip you with the tools to know what to look for. Let's dive into it. Almost every month, we see the same kinds of plugins released again and again. A lo-fi plugin here, a tape emulator there, your favorite producer drops a vinyl effects device. These are all variations of the same theme. A fluctuating pitch, high frequency roll-offs, and a sprinkle of analog warmth. You might ask, what about the tools that actually enhance my music? Well, once again, we're often seeing a multiband compressor, an EQ, a saturator, just wearing a shiny new UI that is going to cost you CPU power. Even so-called multi-effects tools just automate a couple of filter delays and a flanger under names like Distance Reactor or Skibbity Source Maker. If you're watching this, chances are you already own Ableton Suite or FL Studio, Logic Pro, or another DAW which you've paid hundreds of dollars for, all of which can recreate the tools you're being sold over and over again. Also, if you're a regular viewer, chances are you're not subscribed, and what's up with that? Let's look at some examples, then I'll circle back to what makes a plugin a necessary purchase for me. Recently, I saw an ad for Fusion by Prototype Audio. It's a multi-band saturation device. I haven't used it for transparency, but from the trailer, we get a few snapshots, a bunch of buzzwords, and then a tagline, combine them all. We can see from the final screenshot that it is a multi-band tool with highs, mids, and lows based on the visible band splits. You've got gain here, drive, and tone. Usually speaking, gain is our volume, drive is the input level into the saturation algorithm, and tone is usually an EQ tilt or shelf. You can see here that there are 4 light indicators at the top, likely representing 4 saturation algorithms. I'm going to assume that this is maybe tube, tape, and perhaps a couple of analog desk algorithms, which is cool, but based on what information? If there's no evidence to back up what type of tube or what type of analog console it's replicating, then it's no different to a preset. If we compare this to something like an emulation, we can use UAD's collaboration with Neve, for example. We're replicating the modulative curves and harmonic saturation algorithms delivered by actual hardware. It's a reputable company that can't afford to downsell their reputation in a digital age. So going back to Fusion by Prototype, is this something that we can replicate? Let's look at Ableton's RAW, for instance. And yes, RAW leans more on distortion than saturation, but bear with me, Ableton already has a multi-band dynamic device, or compressor. Combine that in an effect rack with some saturators, and boom, you've got multi-band saturation. I'm looking at RAW's 12.2 update, which is coming soon. We've got multi-band routing as per, lows, mids, and highs seen at the top. If we want to, we can match Fusion's crossover points, say 400 Hz for the low and 1500 Hz for the high. We can adjust drive and tone and even tweak tone coloration pre and post shaper. So there's an added bonus here already. We also have modulation here, compression, and feedback, plus more, especially in delay algorithms, which is new in 12.2. Something I can't do from within Ableton is distribute my music, and that's where today's sponsor comes in, DistroKid. They get your tracks on over 200 plus platforms, and they've even added tools like Mixia, which helps you master tracks for playlist ready results. It saves me time and fits perfectly within the theme of this video. Hit the link in the description for a discount on your first year, and now let's get back to it. I discovered that you can even sidechain RAW to individual percussive hits in something like a drum rack, and now we're creating tonal rhythms. Shout out Ned Rush's channel for showing me that tip. This makes RAW more than a saturation device. It's a modular sound design powerhouse. You can map modulation to nearly every parameter, apply per band distortion types, reshape signal flows like a Eurorack module, all with minimal CPU because it's built into Ableton. Again, this isn't about knocking Fusion, it's about asking, do I need to spend money on this, or do I already own something that is as capable? It's kind of the inverse reason of why I built the Lo-Fi device. I couldn't afford the SP404 at the time, so I made my own version for the DAW. Years later, the lovely community gifted me the Mark II, so now I want to build an updated version with the Mark II's effects in the door for anybody that doesn't have the device. You can grab the Lo-Fire and any other device I mentioned in this video over at the Patreon. Wait, but what's my point in this episode if I'm just going to push my Patreon, I hear you ask? Well, because I also show you how to make them for free on the channel. Patreon is just for folks who want to skip that queue and don't have time to replicate stuff, which is kind of my main bugbear on some of these new plugins. They don't enhance your knowledge on current good practices. On the channel, I've replicated Kyle Beat's Drip plugin, tons of lo-fi tools, El Capistan, and more. As a side note, just recently I started working on replicating the high chord hardware device in Ableton, and I'm already halfway there after just a few hours. If you want to see how I'm going about it, just let me know and I'll create an episode on it. Now, there are devices I don't bother replicating. Take Portal by Output, for instance. It does complex real-time granular reversing and pitch shifting. It's way more efficient just to use the plugin than build a monster macro rack, and I have tried a few times. So here's the 4-point test I use before buying a new VST. Do I already have this in my DAW? A lo-fi device won't fix a boring chord progression. That comes from composition, not effects. Can I afford it, and will I use it over time? Some tools are affordable via rent-to-own schemes. When I first started mixing, I used Splice's rent-to-own scheme with Isotope's Nectar 102. And the first session I got paid for covered the cost of the plugin, and then I kept using it in future sessions. And it also helped me learn to mix vocals because you can see the plugin chain and it's using helpful language. That's a perfect segue for point number 3, which is, does it enhance or hinder my understanding of production? Many new plugins use flashy branding to hide basic terms. Compression, delay, saturation, filters. These are universal audio concepts for a reason. Using this universal language, I can walk into any audio space and converse with the professionals there so that we can all drive towards the same goal. If a tool clouds your understanding instead of expanding it, I don't use it. It's out. Finally, if it's not too troublesome to build it, I would say, what would I learn by building this myself? Would it improve my workflow or inspire more creativity? What are its limitations? If your answer, like mine with Portal, is would this take way too long to replicate even one preset, and that plugin saves you serious time, then it might be worth the investment. I hope that this video saved at least one of you from wasting money. As always, thank you so much for swinging by. I'd love for you to be part of the journey in future episodes, so let me know in the comments what you'd like to see in future, and I'll see you guys next time.